Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie and today is a fun video. It's a day that I've waited for quite a long time, and I'm going to take you along on a harvest that I've been waiting for. Now, I live in Utah Zone 7 and our growing season is really short outdoors. So I've been trying to expand what I can grow and harvest indoors. Now today we're going to make a complete salad minus the tomatoes because my tomatoes had to be reset and are not producing as well right now. But we're going to create a complete salad with stuff that I've grown indoors. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what you need to know to grow cucumbers indoors, because today we're going to do a cucumber harvest. Now once again, true to form, I forgot to turn on the camera when I harvested this bowl of lettuce, but let me show you what I harvested it from. Now, as I said when I thought the camera was going, we are going to be harvesting all the rest of the salad greens first, and then we're going to talk about cucumbers. But first, let's talk about this gorgeous lettuce. Now, this is where I cut the lettuce off of. This is what it looks like after it's cut. I'm going to clean it up a little bit later. And this is what it looks like before I cut it. So what I do is I take these 4-inch pots, I put a good potting soil in it, and then I just sprinkle a bunch of lettuce seeds over the top. And I use several different mixes so that when I cut it, I get a good mix of salad greens. This one has some beautiful reds in it. So I think this one is Rocky Top. This one is Black-Seeded Simpson. And then I have a really nice mesclun mix, which has some spicy mustard in it. It has a little bit of arugula, although I'm not seeing the arugula in this mix. It may or may not have come up. But I just cut it. Let me show you how I cut it. I just take my scissors and I shear it. Now this is the 4th time I've done a cutting on this batch of lettuce, and I think it's starting to slow down. So what happens when it slows down, when it gets to this point where you can kind of see a little bit of dead inside, I actually start another tray of lettuce so that it's ready by the time this one's done. I will probably get one more cutting off of this. Now the way I grow the lettuce, let me see if you can see this here. This right down here is a wicking mat, and this tray is full of water. So I put the lettuce on top of that wicking mat. You can see how the roots come out the bottom. It just sits on top of the mat like that, and it gets watered pretty much automatically, although I do have to fill the tray. So that's how I do the lettuce. And we've got a nice bowl of lettuce over here now. Now let me show you what else I'm going to harvest, what else I've been growing indoors for my salad. So this right here is bouquet dill. I choose a dill that tends to delay flowering so that we could get as long a season as possible in here. It's just in a good potting soil. I fertilize everything, all of my vegetables, with Osmocote fertilizer. I don't want any seaweed or fish fertilizers in this room because it's in my home and it stinks. Osmocote is a granular fertilizer. Actually, it's little pellets that are a slow release fertilizer that contain all the nutrients that the plants need, and they grow beautifully. So I don't have to fertilize these again after I put the Osmocote in them. So these technically are not counted as organic, but I am not worried about Osmocote fertilizer being toxic because it's just basically plant nutrients. So to harvest the dill, I just cut off a little bit, and then I just cut little pieces off into the salad. I love dill in salads, and I love the fact that it's easy to grow dill indoors. So now the dill is cut into my salad, and right here, let me move this radish out of the way, we have peas. These are peas that I've grown indoors, not for the pods. I don't expect these to flower and set pods, but the tops of peas are edible and really, really delicious. So I just chunk these up into my salad and I get a wonderful pea flavor off of it. So there we have my peas, and now we're actually going to have my first radish harvest. Now radish is one of the easiest plants to grow outdoors, but this has actually been one of the hardest plants for me to grow indoors. They tend to be very bug prone. Right now they do not have bugs on them, and they tend to get really tall and lanky. They're just a little more difficult to grow indoors than I thought they would be. But let me show you what we have right here. Hopefully I can do it without making a huge mess. This took about 4 weeks. Now I'm not going to put this in the salad obviously right now because it is a little dirty, but we've got radishes for our salad. Let's harvest one more. Oh, and one other thing is the leaves taste just like radishes. So you can be harvesting leaves to put in your salad until the radishes are ready to harvest. Got another good size radish. Now let me show you what I harvested a little earlier. Now I'm going to show you the pictures of what this looked like on the plant. This is a pepper. This is an Antohi pepper, and it actually looks a little different than it did when growing in ground. It looks like a jalapeno. So I was a little worried when I tasted it to see, if it was hot or not, but it wasn't hot. It's very sweet, got nice thick walls, and it was completely grown indoors from seed and in a pot. And these are my pepper plants over here. You can see there's a dough hill that's getting ready to harvest. We actually have several on this plant that are starting to ripen up. Now if I wanted to add kale, I could add some kale because we have kale that can be harvested right now. If we wanted to do some chiji misai, there's chiji misai. We've got more radishes coming. And then I did have some green onions that I could harvest before, but those had sat in the pot for so long. They had weakened a little bit and had spider mites. So I cut them all the way back, sprayed them with an organic spray, Captain Jack's with spinosad. It's an insecticidal soap with spinosad added to it. And I'm hoping that we got rid of the spider mites off of that. But as soon as these regrow, because you can see that this one's starting to regrow, then we could add onions to the salad too. We've got basil that we could add if we want. We have purple basil right here. And then we have some tomatoes that are just about right. So now let's look at the cucumbers. Look at the size of these leaves. They're huge, they're happy, and they're grown indoors in 2-gallon pots. Let me see if I can move this aside. So it's in a 2-gallon pot. The one thing that I've noticed with cucumbers is they dry out extremely easily. This one's a China Jade. It's just grown in a regular pot. What I did is I started the seedlings in 4-inch pots, and when they got big enough, I transplanted them to these 2-gallon pots. I fertilized them with Osmocote, and I do actually use CalMag and a little bit of Maxi Bloom, and I'll show you a picture of those in just a minute, because cucumbers are heavy, heavy feeders. The spots that you see right here and right here, that's caused a little bit by nutrient deficiency. So these do need a lot of fertilizer, and they do need to be watered regularly. But if you can satisfy those requirements, look at the size of this cucumber. So this is a China Jade, and this one over here has not formed cucumbers yet. They were planted at the same time. We've got tons of male flowers, no actual cucumbers yet. This one's a Bait Alpha. Now both of these cucumbers are what are called parthenogenic, which means they do not need pollinators to form fruit. They just form fruit on their own. And we've got more baby fruit coming, and that's what the baby fruit looks like. Hopefully you can see it with the lighting in here. But this right here is a female blossom with a baby cucumber on it, so it's getting more fruit. This is what it looks like at the next stage onto here. So let's harvest this and see how it tastes. Here's our cucumber. I'm sure it could have gotten a little bit larger. We're going to wipe the spines off it. Cucumbers do have spines on them. But I just couldn't wait. We'll wait on the other one for it to get a little bit larger. We're going to cut the blossom end off. And now we're going to try this out and see. It's very sweet, very crunchy. I'm sure you can hear that it's crunchy. I don't see a ton of seeds in it. It has a few little seeds, but it is absolutely delicious. So we're going to add that to the salad too. And there we have a beautiful salad, tasty salad, all grown from plants that I grew indoors in the middle of February, Utah Zone 6. With a nasty storm outside right now. and it just makes me really happy. This is why I grow plants indoors. Now before we go, I had promised you I'd show you the fertilizers that I use. This is the one that I use the most. This is Osmocote. It's not an organic fertilizer, but it is a fertilizer that provides plants with all the nutrients that they need when they're grown in pots. This is what they look like. They're just little round beads. I just sprinkle a few on the top of each pot. And this, generally speaking, lasts for about 3 months. So this is a really good way to fertilize your plants. Another one that I use, especially with the cucumbers and tomatoes, is the Maxi Grow. This one has more nitrogen to it. And then Maxi Bloom. This one has more phosphorus and potassium in it. So this helps promote the fruiting and flowering, and this helps promotes green growth. And these I just mix with water. And for the tomatoes and the cucumbers, I fertilize them every week or two whenever the plants look like they may need it. Now, especially for the cucumbers, I add CalMag. Now, CalMag has some iron in it. It's got magnesium in it. It's got calcium. I don't think it's the calcium as much that the plants need, but it's probably the magnesium that helps them so much. This really helps keep my cucumbers growing happy and healthy. Without it, I haven't been able to produce cucumbers indoors. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. If it has been helpful, I hope you like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and share down below if you've been able to grow enough vegetables indoors to get a harvest. And I'd love to hear what you're harvesting. And go have a wonderful garden adventure.